What's up guys, Jimmy here, and today I want to talk about the netcode fix that got released on PC and that is blowing up everywhere. But before that, I want to say a happy new year to all of you guys. I've been kind of slow on the content lately on both Twitch and YouTube, and in case you can probably hear it, I'm still recovering from a cold, and yeah, I'm going to be back on track very soon. So let's talk about the netcode. So in case you haven't heard it, there's a netcode patch that you can download right now. Unfortunately, not from Capcom themselves, but from a fan who reverse engineered some of the code. That took him like 2 days, and then he implemented a fix for the sync issues that the netcode has. This is technically not even a networking patch. I think he's just slowing down the game engine to sync up properly. Something like that. It's kind of interesting how he's fixing this issue, and I'm wondering if this is actually a patch that Capcom might adopt in the future, because it does come with some issues. Because one of the things that netcode, like the rollback netcode does, is it allows you to play at a steady 60 FPS and not having to worry about slowdowns or delayed inputs. And this fix kind of breaks this philosophy, and I'm wondering if this is gonna be like, if Capcom is officially going to adopt this, is it going to be in the same way, or if there's like, is there another way to sync up the machines without breaking this like a fundamental aspect about rollback netcode? I guess only time will tell. So yeah, this guy, he posts his netcode fix on Reddit and it blows up, and I'm so happy about this for multiple reasons. I think it blew up not just because it's something that everybody wants, but also because it introduces new issues. Apparently, it's much more likely to have one-sided rollback against somebody who has the patch. And keep in mind, not everybody can use this patch. This is PC only, unfortunately. And as a result, if there is a network issue, the player with the patch will not notice it, most likely. And the other player, or there's actually a lot of conflicting information. Let's be clear about this. I have not even tested the network patch because I haven't really played SF5 ever since. I'm still sick. So hopefully very soon we're gonna test this, because I have the game on both PlayStation 4 and on PC, and I'm gonna be playing SF5 on PC very soon just to test how much this patch actually helps. And as a streamer, I can now also get feedback. The players who I play against, I'm sure some of them will come into chat, and then I'll get some feedback whether it was unplayable or how the situation played out. One thing I'm very happy about, though, is the fact that people are talking about this again. I've been so vocal about the netcode for so many years now, and I've gotten so much shit for my videos about this, because I did have a lot of speculation in there because of the server issues, right? We didn't really know if you can fix the netcode just by updating the code, or if there's a fundamental issue with how the server interacts with the whole system. And this is only, like, you can only speculate on this. There's really no data we can discuss here, because Capcom doesn't communicate about this topic at all. And I'm frustrated because of that. I was so frustrated because of that, and I wanted to like make an impact by shedding a light on this issue, that this is an important thing to fix. And I feel like finally we're at a point where Capcom feels like they feel like they have to do something about this, and I'm very happy about that. I'm so happy we're finally talking about this. So even though I haven't tested the patch so far, quite a lot of people within the FGC have tested this, and they have confirmed it does appear to help quite a lot, especially against opponents who are really far away. If you have somebody who's generally unplayable and you apply the patch, it does seem to help quite a lot with that, and that's awesome. But it's not just awesome. There's a big downside to this patch. Okay, so what is the problem with this patch? The main issue really is it's not an official patch, which means some will apply it and others won't. And I've already said, it leads into issues. There seems to be one-sided rollback almost guaranteed. When there's a network issue and you're playing on the PlayStation 4, then you're kind of screwed against PC, which makes it really likely, like you should really not play against PC anymore, and that's bad. I've seen some ridiculous statements online about how PlayStation 4 players shouldn't ruin the party for PC players by saying that people shouldn't apply the patch, but honestly, there's a really good argument to make when it comes to not applying the patch. If you're playing on PC, I think it should, like, you should only be playing against PC. There's no way you should be playing against PlayStation 4. So I think the responsibility should be on the PC players who apply the patch. I think it's great if you're going to have fun with the game again because the game actually works properly, especially if you're interested to play a friend in Battle Lounge or something like that, and you know your opponent is going to have the patch applied. That's great. That's awesome. Nobody's trying to ruin that at all. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to have a ranking system and you're playing against PlayStation 4 players, knowing you're beating some of them because of a network issue, like this has so many issues. Like, you can really abuse PlayStation 4 connections now to rank up, and that's bad. Do I really have to even say that? It's amazing that some are not trying to argue this way. This is definitely a problem, and it's a problem in such a big way that I feel like people shouldn't be playing ranked with the patch. They shouldn't. They should only play against players who also have the patch applied. Friends that they're in contact with that you know have the patch applied. Which is sad, by the way, because if the patch actually works, and it does seem to work, then you're getting a better experience. But if it's at the cost of ruining your opponent's connection, then it's really not worth it. And honestly, this is where we get to the next point that I want to talk about. Capcom already responded to the patch, which is very unusual, by the way. Like, it's like, this can't be overstated how unusual it is for Capcom to respond to a Reddit thread about the netcode. Capcom never does this, but now they're doing this. So I have a suspicion as to why Capcom feels forced to do something about the situation, and I don't think it has anything to do with the game being unplayable for some viewers, especially like the PlayStation 4 players are essentially screwed because of the patch. I don't think they care about this at all. If they cared about the online environment, I think they would have done something about this a long time ago. So this is not a secret. Capcom has known for years now that people are unhappy about the netcode, and they haven't done anything about it. It has more to do with the upcoming Olympics tournament. I'm pretty sure the tournament mode is something that triggers Capcom to handle the situation now, because now that PC players basically have a way to guarantee one-sided rollback, that just opens the door for way too much cheating, way too much like potential backlash that Capcom has to deal with. So they have to do something about this, right? And I guess there are three things that Capcom could be doing, so let's discuss that. So option one is the option that Capcom has chosen so far every time people have discussed the netcode, and that is not to do anything about it. I don't think this is going to happen. As I said, it is an option though. It's an option that Capcom loves to do. They love to not communicate. They love to not do anything about Street Fighter V's online situation. So it seems like, at first it seems like it's the most probable thing they're going to do, but as I said, Ono has already responded via Twitter, and I don't think he would have done that if they are planning to ignore it. So yeah, I think option one is highly unlikely. They are going to do something about this. So what is option two? Option two is basically the one that everybody's hoping for. Capcom is gonna fix the netcode properly. They're going to take a look at this mod and basically make it official by taking a look at what was fixed, maybe even making additional changes so that everything works better, and implement it on both PC and the PlayStation 4, because that would basically be necessary for the fix to work properly, right? This is the one that everybody wants to see, including myself, obviously. It would be awesome if that was going to happen, but I think if Capcom wanted to do that, they would have done that a long time ago. This is not a secret to Capcom, even though like there's this discussion around Capcom and how everything works through Capcom Japan and how they're not really communicating with the rest of the world. They're basically doing their own thing. But I think even Capcom Japan, they know about the netcode issue. There's no way they don't know about this. They know people are unhappy about this, and they could have done something about this a long time ago, and they didn't. So I don't think this is going to happen. Unfortunately, option two, I think, is also highly unlikely. So option three, what is option three? I think it's the most likely one to happen, and it's also the most interesting one, even though it makes me and others really sad, but Capcom's probably going to try to find a way to ban the patch from PC players. They're probably going to force players to verify the game files or something like that to get the proper files. I'm not quite sure if this is technically easily possible or not, but I'm pretty sure, I can't imagine they can't find a way. There's probably ways to do this for Capcom, and I'm absolutely expecting this. The cool thing about this is, why I say it's the most interesting way to handle the situation is it's the most lazy way for Capcom to fix the situation, to make sure when tournament mode arrives, when the Olympics, when the online tournaments happen, that's the laziest way to make sure people are at least playing with the current rules and that there's no proper way to cheat, right? And at the same time, because it's a lazy option and because it looks so bad for Capcom if they do that, right? They're banning an option. They're actively putting resources into making the game worse online, right? And that just does not look good. That does not look at all. Look good at all. I think Capcom is speculating that people will forget about this or that the backlash will eventually die down. As I said, there is a problem with the netcode patch. I think it is problematic specifically because of the upcoming online tournaments. So maybe they're even hoping the community is gonna be behind Capcom on this one, which they should partially be, but at the same time, it really begs the question, why is Capcom putting resources into banning fixes, community-made fixes? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Why not just fix the thing that is broken, right? So here's what's going to happen within the next couple of months, and maybe even years as a result of this netcode fix. Capcom is going to ban it, people are going to be pissed, and there's going to be some backlash for it. Capcom might play this in a smart way if they make some really weird excuse as to why it doesn't work with the cross-platform play. Maybe it works only for PC but not for PlayStation 4. Maybe they're going to say something like that, and honestly that would be more than we ever got from Capcom on this topic, so that would be something, but I think it's highly likely they're going to have a lazy excuse for why they're not fixing the broken online state in SF5. Because I think if they're actually going to fix it now, it just shows that they could have fixed it a long time ago, right? There's really no excuse unless they can provide us with some information as to why it's a technical limitation for some reason. But maybe what I think is, maybe they're going to use that situation to promote Street Fighter 6 with this. This is honestly something they could leverage as marketing material for the next generation. Because there's a lot of speculation at the moment about Street Fighter 6 being a 2021 game, they might actually pull this off properly. Just say you've learned from your mistakes in the past, kind of like they did with Street Fighter 4. I remember some slides that Capcom did with Street Fighter 5. They might do something similar with Street Fighter 6, but with an emphasis on netcode, for example. We heard you, we're learning from our mistakes, Street Fighter 6 is going to have amazing netcode, which might be bad for Street Fighter 5, but at the very least, if that is actually true, if they're gonna do it this way, then they're kind of committed to actually providing good netcode, right? And that's a plus, even though it's a plus with a lot of salt on it. So yeah, either way, Capcom will only fix the netcode if they feel like they're gonna lose money if they don't, right? This is the ultimate thing. Capcom, if they're gonna fix the netcode, they will tell us that they're listening to community feedback, blah blah blah. This is just nonsense, okay? Keep in mind, Capcom is just a company. Companies are there to make money, and that's really the only thing they really care about at the end of the day. And this is something I talk about on this channel quite a lot, or maybe I should really talk about this as a primary topic at some point, because sometimes I feel like people make these weird statements about companies being moral beings that are they make moral decisions because they do something because they care about the community. No, that's nonsense. Companies are there to make money. That's really a simple goal, and one part of that is to make the community happy, because if you don't ever make your community happy, people will simply not buy your products. That's how it works. This is why profitability is a really good motivator to make people happy, right? Because if you have a really good reputation, if your product is really, really good, then people will buy it. It's kind of simple, right? But at the end of the day, this is, I think, really important to understand. I feel like Capcom has not done anything about this because there is really no monetary incentive for them to do anything about it, right? This is the reason why they're not fixing the netcode, because it would simply cost them more money to do that, which is why it's important as a community. Like, Capcom isn't a special company, okay? And because of that, we have the responsibility, I have the responsibility as a content creator to tell you guys, hey, this is a problem, we should be vocal about this. Well, like, I won't get it right every time, right? Like, sometimes I can obviously talk nonsense, and you should call me out on that. That's also important. But at the end of the day, I feel like the content creators and the community as a whole needs to come together. When there's BS happening in our community, we should call it out. We should talk about it properly, so that Capcom at some point feels the pressure and they feel like doing something about this. And I think the netcode is a perfect example of exactly that happening right now. There's a patch that came out, people are talking about it, people will be pissed if Capcom bans this patch, and because of that, Capcom might be forced to actually fix the netcode at some point. Maybe not even with Street Fighter V. I think it's likely for this to not happen, but maybe it is. Maybe it is going to happen with Street Fighter V, and that would be great. That would be awesome, and that would only happen because the community is talking about this right now. So yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I really hope you enjoyed my little rant about the netcode and what I think is going to happen in the future. Thanks a lot for watching, by the way, on the first video with the new camera. I really hope you enjoyed the better quality, or at least, or maybe you can't even tell the difference. I'm not quite sure. 60 FPS, proper quality now. Not a lot of people actually like 60 FPS footage from a camera. I'm not quite sure why this is. I think this is way better, way smoother. Maybe I'm going to have to figure out the lighting, by the way. This is something I still have to figure out with this new camera, but I think it looks way better already. So if you enjoy my channel and would like to support me, you can always like my videos on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, obviously. Down below, there's also going to be a couple of links to my Patreon, my Twitch, my Twitter. Give me a follow there, that always helps. So thank you so much for watching until the very end. Take care, and I'll see you soon.